Everybody who was traumatized.
You rappers gonna...
Man, I ain't gonna nah, man, we ain't finna be on no the streets, especially if you done made it off the streets. Everybody who was traumatized by the streets, it made you a success story to lead them streets. Streets made everything, hip-hop, NFL, NBA. They had to play ball to leave the streets. So the streets got success stories. Trauma turned into success. Take streets out, all our music. Who are you now without that street message that you preach to everybody? Who are you now? Man, I ain't gonna nah, man, we ain't finna be on no the streets, especially if you done made it off the streets. Everybody who was traumatized by the streets, it made you a success story to lead them streets. Streets made everything, hip-hop, NFL, NBA. They had to play ball to leave the streets. So the streets got success stories. Trauma turned into success. Take streets out, all our music. Who are you now?
I'm with. I
ain't supposed to say it like that.
You shouldn't.
I probably said save the streets.
Yes.
We gotta save the streets.
Yes.
We gotta get all the bullshit, all the crazy shit out of it, and put the love and the hustle back in the shit.
Yeah, but bullshit come with the street. That is what that come with the street. But you just saying we ain't pushing that.
So I'm back. So I said I was gonna make this video off of my Charleston White video. I definitely advise you to go check that out. But about the whole fuck the streets and 21 Savage and Pooh Shiesty and Boosie and all of them talking about the whole F the streets and Boosie saying that the streets made you and blah blah blah. So I want to get into it and sum it up like this. Like I already kind of touched on it in the Charleston White video, but this is my biggest problem with hood culture. And if you don't know me, if this is the first video you've seen, I'm somebody who I got plenty of videos on here about hood culture and thug culture and black women loving hood dudes is the real reason why the black community at the bottom and how that affects the black community more than race in 2025, in current times. That's the reason why black people is at the bottom more so than racism or anything else is hood culture. So I'm always against hood culture. I'm always one of the dudes that not afraid to stand up and say fuck all the hood culture, all these hood rappers, dumb rappers. I call them dumb hood niggas all the time. Like I'm somebody who always been on that. And I'm, somebody from the hood, but I still always been somebody who, like half hood, half nerd, especially when I was younger. But now that I'm then got older, I'm in my 30s now. I'm definitely, like 75, 80% a nerd or just an upstanding citizen. And, maybe 10, 20% still hood. And that's just because when you come from that and you live there your whole life, like I didn't move out the hood till I was like 18, 19. So when you grow up in it like that, it's always gonna be a part of you, and then you still got friends. Of course, you still got friends from the hood, hood dudes that is, that I am cool with and stuff like that. And then you don't never lose that instinct and stuff like that. So that's why it's not a 100% going, because I can't erase my past and my younger years and the stuff I've seen and the people that I know from that environment. Then I do technically do some stuff that I guess would be considered hood, like smoking weed or listening to rap music. Just that alone, they try to label you. But for the most part, that I am against that. So this is what I always say. So getting into my point about this F the streets, like I said in the other video, this is the problem. And I use T.I. and Jeezy as the example, and I'm going to use them again. Every time a hood dude start, and then this also goes to the Charleston White thing, because Charleston White in the Say Cheese interview ended up saying that Say Cheese is hurting his brand and he can't get sponsorships and he can't get brand deals because he's associated with hood culture and he looked at it in a negative light. And that's the same thing rappers say. Boosie didn't even say this. T.I. Jeezy, they always, black people or niggas always say that it's racism or because they can't get endorsement deals or they can't get the real big deals and they can't really break it. They can't really break through mainstream. And I even heard Boosie say this. And this is what they don't get. With Charleston White, it was right in a sense, but he's wrong because he created his own image just like these rappers do. like I said, once somebody view you a certain way, it's hard for them to change their mind and view you another way. Like I said in the video, and this is the problem that they face is that Charleston White want to be viewed another way, just like these rappers. T.I. and Jeezy, you see T.I. talk proper now. Jeezy put on suits. Everybody wants to be viewed in a better light so they can get more money and get more endorsements and brand deals and TV shows and movies and stuff. But people don't understand is that once you paint it one way, it's hard to change. Even for actors, a perfect example. Look at like perfect example. Look at then Carlton off of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or you look at like the dude from Daniel, I forgot his last name, from Harry Potter. Like we know certain people get painted into a role, regardless if that's them or not. A lot of actors that went through this, a lot of actors that said this plenty of times to where, like, let's say you play a police officer in your first big movie and you kill it and you do good, they gonna tend to always put you in movies that makes you law enforcement or a police officer. If you a comic, they most of the time they're gonna put you in comedy movies. It's rare that you get somebody who plays totally different roles. Like there is some actors the top of the line that do that, but for the most part, like they say, Denzel is Denzel in every movie. Al Pacino is Al Pacino in most movies. Will Smith is like you don't see a drastic change of who the person is. Sometimes it happen. Like I just finally watched Breaking Bad, and the main character who played in Malcolm in the Middle, he did it to where it was like two completely different roles, and that's why I like Breaking Bad so much, and I'm glad that he got an Emmy. I think it's an Emmy that you get for TV shows, but because it was just such a dramatic change. But for the most part, most actors can't do that. Most actors they're going to still fall in whatever category that they're in because people view you a certain way. Like nobody's about to view. Like imagine if Will Smith tried to play a hood dude in a movie. He can try it. He might actually play it good, but people gonna know that no, that don't really fit him for real. Even you see it with Tupac and Juice, what everybody say, oh, Tupac became Juice and Juice was really Tupac and all of that type of stuff. So if actors can't even get out of it, how do you think as you as an artist or a person who said that this is you and your image think that you can change? You get what I'm saying? Like what they don't understand is like Boosie, you can't go from being this hood rapper, the streets and all of this, and then you think that you finna get a deal with Nike or Disney or like something like that. Like it just like it don't click in their head. Like you didn't already trapped yourself in a box. And like I said, people they start to realize that it's stupid because the box that you get painted on, you get put in is for one, like I said, black people, we only 13% of the population, or 12.6, whatever they say. This is what people like niggas don't understand. Boosie, all of these rappers don't understand. Not every black person is a hood dude. Not every black person is street and on that type of time. There's a lot of black people there's black nerds, there's black people, regular people who work 9 to 5s. There's black people who just go who wasn't born in the hood. Who was born rich. Like you think LeBron James kids identify with the hood and hood, like no, but they're still black. So that's what niggas don't realize is that like all black people is not hood. So you literally limited yourself to a small population, really. So you really got to kind of cut it in half almost, or at least 8%. Because to me personally, people disagree with me, but I do believe and I do agree with people when they say that most black people is hood and fall into the ignorance of hip hop. Like I do believe that there's more ignorant black people than there is upstanding black people like myself, because we see that from our culture. Because if there was more good black people and nerds or whatever, the hood culture and all of this shit wouldn't be as big as it is. So that goes to prove that there is a large population of black people that is on the hood, ignorant, sexy red. We already know stuff. We already know that. So, but it's not the total 12, 13% of the population for black people. It might be like 8%. So you limiting yourself to 8% of the population, and from a business standpoint, that's stupid. Which Charleston White was saying, which he do have some truth to, but What he don't get is that it's too late. Like how you start is how you finish. Like you can't go from being a hood rapper to trying to be Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. Like it don't seem authentic. Perfect example is like a Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne one of my favorite rappers, but people always say Lil Wayne music don't have no substance, which is true. But like I tell them, I get it from Lil Wayne's standpoint because Lil Wayne been rich since he was 15, 16. He was famous since like 13. So when have he had the chance to struggle for real? And then if he try to make some music that's not authentic to him, it's gonna sound corny. Like the song, remember when he made the song How to Love? Like it was still a hit, a good song or whatever, but most people was looking at it like Drake. Like people still to this day think Drake wrote that or something. Like people just can't believe that Lil Wayne wrote that song himself because it's not him. And that's what happens now when you get put into that box. Like you can't go from, oh, now I want to be corporate and a family friendly type of person. Like once you did all of this, like you already put in that box, unfortunately. Like, and that's why it's so important of how you paint yourself in the beginning. You don't get out that image. And then two, this is another problem, is that people always want to fall back on who they was. So for example, you will see Boosie or T.I. or Jeezy, perfect example, they'll say that they changed and they, grown men now and they ain't on that hood dumb stuff no more. And then they'll turn around and make a song talking about something. I'm still in the trap. I used to have the O's. I used to do this, do that. So then it's like, contradicting themselves. So where they can't make up their mind. And I know Jeezy, for certain went through that with his music to where he still want to feed the streets and he has to feed his fan base, but he's trying to grow also, and it causes conflict. And that's what the problem is because you already have your fan base. And then when you try to do something completely different, you end up alienating the fan base that you already had. And people like me not gonna trust it for real. Because once I put you in the box, like most people, I ain't gonna lie, I am one of them people to a certain degree. I understand people get older and they can grow, but you can't go from being, like T.I. and Jeezy having fucking 10 albums of you talking about selling drugs and being hood. Now all of a sudden you want us to see you as a Disney friendly, this upstanding type of person. Like, no, it just don't work like that, unfortunately. We believe that you can be off of that and you done grown, but you can never completely shift your image like that. So that's what I wanted to say. Then a lot of people, I think Boosie and a couple other people say you gotta stop making music like that. That making hood music then to 21 Savage and Pooh Shiesty now. And they can't. That's another thing. Like I was saying about Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne is way more better and talented than y'all. So if he can't do it, y'all can't do it. To where if they do make a positive song or something, it's gonna sound corny. They don't got it in them. They can't do it. People gonna know that they basically trying too hard. So it ain't gonna come out. It ain't gonna come off as authentic. Then they hood fans that they do have gonna start calling them soft. So they really put in that box where they don't have no choice but to keep making that type of music. And then it's in the reverse. Like imagine if Kanye West or Common or J. Cole all of a sudden start making hood music and trying to talk about guns and all of that. People gonna be looking at them like they crazy and they corny and it's fake. And it's the same thing in reverse. The 21 Savage and Pooh Shiesty all of a sudden want to think they Tupac or think that they Nas, it's not gonna work. People gonna see right through that. So they really fuck. And that's my point in this video for the young people. And I'm gonna end it with this. Young people, y'all need, I still don't understand to the day. It's been enough time. I understand in the 80s, 90s with the drug dealers, people didn't know no better. But in the year 2025, we at the point to where you know that where hood culture leads you. It's no win in that. We already know Deffer in jail. That's why even all of these rappers, look, Boosie was supposed to be going back to jail. I don't know if he is. NBA Youngboy, who y'all love, we seen he was on house arrest for years, then had to do, I think, a year or two or three in prison. And then Pooh Shiesty just got out of prison. Like all of these dudes always go to jail. They're not even smart enough to obey the law. That's why I said, like, why do y'all want to be that? Like these people not even smart enough to not get caught. So they waste years of your life. You only get one life and they wasting it being in prison. Then they always paint it as the dumb niggas because regardless they got money, because they're like, oh, they got money, but yeah, but they don't have no real money. Like, and then they money is not like what they think it is. That's why a perfect example is like a Fetty Wap. We know that these hood rappers don't be having money like that. Cause Fetty Wap actually had #1 hits. Like, forget that. Like he had certified hits, and he still had to sell drugs and couldn't work it out. So I know these rappers like Pooh Shiesty and all of these type of rappers who y'all think got money. Like if Fetty Wap didn't have money, there ain't no way Pooh Shiesty and these other rappers got money because Fetty Wap had way bigger hits than they did. So it's not adding up. So, but that's why I see a lot of rappers. I just seen it happen to a lot of local rappers to where they still sell drugs on the side and they still got to hustle on the side because they're not making enough money through music. Why? Because they limited themselves to a small population. That's why if I'm a rapper, I'll never be strictly a hood rapper. It's not smart economically because we know hood rappers, like I said, you talking about 6% of the population, if that, then we talking about you marketing yourself to the unfortunately it's the truth. The brokest and poorest people in America is in the hood. Like it just steady showed that. Like people with money is not in the hood. So you marketing and trying to appeal to them, but they don't have money to pay hundreds of dollars for your concerts like a Drake or a Beyonce concert or an Eminem concert. That's the difference. Or even a Lil Wayne, because even though Lil Wayne loved in the hood, Lil Wayne has a huge white fan base. Pull up a Lil Wayne concert, you're gonna see nothing but white people. So it's like it's way different, and you losing too much money trying to appeal to that. Then you putting a target on your back, like it just too much. That's why all of these rappers die. And I'm gonna end it with this to prove my point even more. You notice that you never heard of no conscious rapper dying, besides maybe Tupac, but that's because Tupac was dipping and dabbling. He was, a conscious rapper, but then he was also a street hood rapper, and the street hoodness got him killed. But besides that, you don't see Kendrick Lamar getting shot at. You don't see J. Cole getting shot at or robbed. You ain't never heard of Common getting shot at or robbed. I ain't never heard of Eminem getting shot or robbed. I ain't never heard of Nas getting shot or robbed. And I'm out.